Hello guys, this is Gods on Goal. Welcome back to the channel. Remember to like and subscribe to Gods on Goal. I am your host Gods, and it's another weekend, a successful weekend for the hate watchers, for the big teams that support. If your team has moved up the table, it's even much better because Arsenal won. The elephant is on top of the table. Finally, after a long time. I remember last season, we never even got to reach the first place, being at the first place, not even a single day, apart from the beginning of the season where we stayed there in the alphabetical order. But this season we managed, after being 5 points behind last week, and now we are basically a point ahead Liverpool, who lost and got a taste of their own medicine at the Stamford Bridge, and they lost to 2-1 through goals through Caicedo and Esteban. But before we get there, thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. Remember to like every video. I'll be able to post more frequently, and I want to do a wrap up of how the weekend has gone in terms of the EPL, and I'll start at Bournemouth versus Fulham. I mentioned in the previous video that they actually won. Semenyo scored 2 goals, Kluivert scored the third one, so they won 3-1, and they've been moving well. They are doing good. Iraola is doing a fantastic job, and if he continues this way, because last season they actually started very well, and then there's a period of time they lost about 2, 3, 4, 5 games. I think it was due to injury or something, and they couldn't really cope, and they never made it to any European position, and that's where Nottingham Forest took over. Crystal Palace, after they winning the FA Cup, they went on and did that. But if this season they keep it up, I can tell you for free that they will be there on about, maybe through the Conference League or the Europa League. And if they are actually strong enough, they have the depth, if they have the consistency to actually continue winning games, a Champions League spot, a top 4 or top 5 finish isn't really far-fetched, but we're only like 6-7 games in, so I think it is too early to judge, but let's see and wait. So, and the other one was the early kickoff on Saturday, Leeds versus Tottenham. Wasn't really a great performance from Tottenham, depending on how I've seen what the other fans are saying. They won 2-1 away at Leeds. Thomas Frank actually has been doing a really good job, and he's tried to stabilize the team, tried to keep them in winning ways. And it wasn't really a bad appointment to them, because Spurs wasn't really a bad side compared to Ange, who actually lost again, but we'll come to that. Compared to Ange, he is a good coach. He's in a team that has the finances to keep on buying more players that he wants. He's in a team that may be able to perform on the highest level. I don't know whether they're in a title race yet, but they are on. I think they have about 13 or 14 points. So yes, they are doing well this season. And compared to the season finishing 17th, I don't expect them to finish 17th at all. So they have to fight for Champions League space. As much as they are playing in the Champions League currently, they are not among the favorites, but however football is set up nowadays, you can't really tell. They've drawn about 2 or 3 games on the trot, so this was a needed win for them. And Leeds don't look like they are going to stay in the league, because we expect them to get relegated, regardless of how they perform. But there are teams like West Ham, Wolves is looking really bad, Brentford also, yes. But Spurs won, easy done it. I also predicted Spurs they will win, so it wasn't really a surprise that they won. It wasn't supposed to be hard, but they won. That is basically it. When it comes to Manchester United versus Sunderland, now the best thing, and actually, so I did not see the game, but I was in the group in my WhatsApp group that we normally talk about football most of the time. And the moment the lineup was brought out, and I saw 2 players missing, that was Dogu and what is his name, Ugarte. And the players like Mason Mount was there, Sesko was there. Sesko actually scored a goal, finally, a second goal. Mason Mount was there. The new goalkeeper was playing. Lenny Yoro, Luke Shaw was still playing. I mean, he put up a decent lineup if you looked at it. And it wasn't necessarily a winning lineup, but since it's a team that has been, has risen from the championship, Sunderland, I don't think Manchester United really struggled so much on this relegation, these promoted teams. I expected them to win. I actually predicted them to win because they were under pressure to produce results, regardless of how they played. They had to win. And to come out with a 2-0 win at Old Trafford with a clean sheet, that relieves a little bit of pressure from the coach. I don't know how this week will go because there were rumors going around that Amorim might be fired before the international break or after, in between the international break, and they appoint somebody like Gareth Southgate. So it's something that we have to really watch and see how that pans out. But yeah, he's bought himself time. He's shown that he can actually, his system isn't the wrong one. The players are there, and the players are willing to actually play for him. That's it. I didn't see the game. I just seen some highlights because our game was all at the same time as Manchester United. So yeah, but I still think Amorim will be fired eventually, even if he gets 1 or 2 wins here. Yeah, because he has gotten 3 wins for the past 3 wins, and if you check those wins, he won against Burnley and took a last-minute penalty. That is a promoted team. He won against 10-man Chelsea. That is evidence enough, and this is Sunderland. Can they be able to do against the other top sides in the Premier League? Now it's all about sitting down and watching to see how that happens. So yes, I still feel that he's on borrowed time, but let's hope that he continues to stay, because as rival fans, we want him to continue staying. We can be able to relegate that club if possible. It's good for banter material. Let's just be honest with it. We just want to banter Manchester United because it feels really good. But now that they won, we actually had to win our game. And yeah, they're good. They got the points. And yeah, Sunderland would feel bad because they have been really, really on good form. Well, they just have to pick it up, because when they meet with these bigger, especially the top 6 teams, I don't think they really have a chance unless a miracle happens in the game. But not necessarily that they are the favorites in most of these big games. But yes, they can be able to rack up points. They can be able to stay in the league, because teams like West Ham, Brentford, Wolves, they aren't really performing well. And if they can be able to maintain that momentum in the long run, then I guess they are candidates to actually stay. They're not one of the candidates that I think will be relegated, because Burnley is there, Leeds is there also. We have Wolves and other teams. So yes, it was a good win for Amorim boys. He can rest easy now, because now the players are going to the international break. They can go relax. Their next game is going to be at Liverpool at the Anfield. So yes, I don't expect them to win at Anfield, but with football, as you've seen, you never really know. You never really know, because who would have predicted that Liverpool would lose 3 games on the road? But I digress. I'm coming exactly to that, because I watched I think the second half of the game, because with Liverpool I don't need to watch all the game. I just need to watch the last minutes and see what is happening. So yes, now we come to our game, Arsenal versus West Ham, and we won 2-0, goals by Declan Rice. Of course, he had to score against his former team, and a Saka penalty, and that gets him to the 100th goal contribution. That is 55 goals and 45 assists for Arsenal, with the 200 appearances, and that is a milestone for a 24-year-old, and he's one of the youngest. If you see that list, I posted on YouTube. He's one of the youngest players to actually get that feat. And yeah, it was a clinical performance. I can say we dominated West Ham. They had no shots on target. It was comfortable, I can say. West Ham didn't really pose a threat, because Raya didn't need to make any save. Apart from a corner they received early in the game, maybe a second corner that Fulkrug skied to the fans. Yeah, the only downside of what happened in that game is that we lost Odegaard after 23 or 24 minutes after the lineup was put. And a midfield of Eze, Rice and Odegaard, and so many fans have been asking for that lineup and that attacking team that we saw versus Olympiacos over the weekend in the Champions League. That is what exactly you were asking for. We got it. It started well. We never scored a goal, but it started well, and we are still getting counter attacks from the other team, and he got a knee injury, played for some few minutes, and he couldn't go on. Zubimendi was brought on, and there's an account on X called Hand of Arsenal. He said that Zubimendi would and will change our lives as Arsenal fans. We had a problem over the past for so many years, especially replacing Granit Xhaka and Thomas Partey now that he left the group when his contract ran out. We were really worried because whenever Partey wasn't on the team, we used to really struggle. We used to really find it hard to play fluently, to play on the front foot. We used to find it hard, and just even to create chances, even defensively, it was terrible. But once you had Partey in the midfield, he could get those passes. He could do those tackles, including Declan Rice. So yes, he was a good player. And now with Zubimendi on the team now, we can see how good he is, and he's basically playing all the games. He came in, he gave a pre-assist, or rather a through pass to Eze. Eze took a shot, Areola punched it to the box, and Rice finished to the box. If you saw the goal, that wasn't really a tough. That was actually a tough shot to take, because a few moments earlier Eze missed a similar shot, and you could see how players were arriving in the box, in the space where Gyökeres was occupying. You could see Leandro Trossard, we could see Zubimendi, we could see Eze. So yes, Eze missed a similar chance, and Rice scored the other chance that we got. It wasn't really tough. Saka had a really, really good game. Julian Timber won as a penalty. As much as people are complaining, it wasn't a penalty, because if you hold a player outside the box and you continue into the box, that's definitely a penalty. And the argument that is actually currently going on within us Arsenal fans is who is really our penalty taker, because at some point Arteta told us that Gyökeres is one of the best penalty takers in the club at the moment, and we wanted him to score. Yes, a striker was bought to score goals. A striker was bought in to link up with players and basically bury our chances. That's what Arsenal want. But at the moment, Bukayo Saka was the captain of the day. I did not expect him to give it up in a milestone game, a game that he was to reach a milestone of playing 200 games, getting 100 goal contributions. I mean, that was really, really important for him. And Saka isn't really a bad penalty taker. He has missed maybe one or two, but generally his penalties, get in the box, get in the net. And I felt safe when he was playing, when he was taking the penalty. Yes, Gyökeres missed a few chances. He was being bullied here and there. He was marked the way we always saw Saka marked for the past maybe two or three seasons. He's being marked, double teamed, maybe sometimes even triple teamed. Nowadays, you can see him running through players. He gets maybe one-on-one so many times, both wings basically, because these strikers, our striker Gyökeres attracts these defenders from the opposing team. Yes, I was disappointed really didn't score in that game, because come on, why did we even buy him in the first place if he cannot put the goals back in the net? But it's all a matter of waiting to see how the season goes, and we expect that as time goes, Gyökeres can be able to pick up, because the golden race, the golden boot race is not looking good, because Haaland currently has 9 goals. 9 already, and it's barely a quarter of the season. Yeah, we don't expect Gyökeres to get the golden boot, but at least get us 15 or 20 goals that we've been missing. And if Havertz gets back in the team, I think he'll have an easy time getting into the team, because he plays exactly what Arteta wants. That's that holder play, winning duels, getting shots here and there, scoring goals, etc. And if Havertz starts scoring on a frequent basis, questions will be asked about Gyökeres, whether he should be a starter or maybe he should come in as a finisher, not necessarily as a substitute, because that is what Arteta is advocating currently, that we call our substitutes finishers. And to your surprise, apart from yesterday's game versus West Ham, majority of the players who came off the bench actually get to score, because Saka was one of them, scored against Olympiacos. He came off the bench. We go to, I think, yes, I think he came, yes, he came off the bench. We go to the previous game, Newcastle, Merino came off the bench, he scored. Go to the other game, Martinelli came off the bench, he scored. On the Champions League, same case. Apart from Portval, Eze and Trossard scoring, yes, most of these games, it has proven that the guys who are on the bench and the guys who are on the team, they are syncing, they are basically in tandem. And if you cannot do it within a set of minutes, whoever is on the bench will come and do exactly what is expected to do. That is good for competition. It's good for, keeping the players on toes. Unfortunately or fortunately, Gyökeres currently doesn't have a substitute. So he has played about 90 minutes of every game, apart from the Carabao Cup game. He needs help. And I expect Havertz to come back. I'm a big Havertz fan, to be very honest. I'm a big Havertz fan. And when he comes back, we will support him the way we did last season and the previous season. We will support him. And if he bangs in goals, I'll raise up my hands. I'm like, yeah, Havertz needs to start more games. You guys can be able to come with the sub, or we can have them both in a team. It's a good dynamic to have. So yes, that is more of Arsenal. It takes us to the top of the table. And now we come to the main event of the weekend, which was Chelsea versus Liverpool. Now, that game had everything. It also had red cards, because Chelsea decides to collect red cards. It's now like the fourth straight game they've collected a red card. And this time, it's not the players who got the red card. It's the coach, the manager. And I understand why he got it. He got it while celebrating with the players after scoring a last-minute winner against Liverpool. And it has happened to them in the second game of the league in a row. Do you know how crazy that is? Do you know how mad? Like a player, a coach like Arne Slot is right currently? Been crying for penalties, losing 3 games on the trot. He's in scoring enough goals. His defense is terrible. Currently, defense can't keep a clean sheet. He's only kept 2 clean sheets all season in all games, and that is versus Burnley and versus my team. It's annoying. It's annoying to have them. But I predicted actually they would win, because Chelsea don't really have defenders, don't really have recognized defenders. Chelsea concede a lot of goals around each game. And if you look at the opponent, they had Ekitike, they had Salah, they had Isak, they had Gakpo. Those are striking options that would instill fear in the opponent. They had Florian Wirtz, who's on a 009 or 008, whatever it is. He hasn't scored in 8-9 games or assisted. If you look at that team, they would terrorize any defense. Their midfield isn't really bad. You have the Gravenberch, you have McAllister, you have Sosbo. Their defense is one which is really shaky. And Konate went down the other ball over the weekend also. I don't know when he'll be back, or whether he'll be back sooner. Now that means they are light in defense. They can't really do a lot of rotations, right? In that department. They also lost Alisson to an injury, so that will take him about 5 to 6 weeks. So yes, it's not looking good on their end. Now that they're facing Manchester United at Anfield, I think they would want to prove a point that they are still in the title race. They are still the champions. But you have this feeling that Liverpool might do a madness and go and lose to Manchester United at Anfield. I can't even remember when last that happened, because with Manchester United, wherever they are, apart from saving their coach, I don't think they have anything to lose to that game. they can throw everything to the game and actually go and win at Anfield. And that would have some really uncomfortable conversations because they'll be like 2 or 3 points behind them. So yeah, Liverpool need to. They are actually glad that it is an international break. They can be able to go outside when the players go to their national teams, able to sit down, reset, and prepare for a big game because they wouldn't want to lose ground to Arsenal. Yes, some of the fans I see on X, they're saying they'd rather be 1 or 2 points behind Arsenal than being, behind Man City with 1 or 2 points. And if you ask them why, it's basically they just know that we will go into bottle, or rather we are going not to win our games. It's just a lot of slander. But if you put it into perspective, if you put words to the numbers that are being put by Arsenal. For example, we are currently the top scorers of the league. That is an advantage. Or second, we have kept the most. I think we have kept the joint most clean sheets because Newcastle won their game against Nottingham Forest and they kept a clean sheet. So we'll come to that game. We've scored more goals. We have more clean sheets. We have conceded only 3 goals and only 1 open play goal. The other 2 were set pieces. One was who? Who was his name? Haaland scored an open play goal. Walter Madi scored a corner, and the other game was oh yes, it was a free kick from Szoboszlai. Is it Szoboszlai or Szoboszlai? His name, whatever it is, a worldly free kick. So yes, Liverpool are in big trouble because if they lose ground at any point, remember, as much as they are trying to chase us, Man City is still lacking there behind, watching. They won 4 Champions League. They won 4 league titles in a row. I think it's fair not to underrate them, or rather to dismiss their importance in a title race. It can be a 2-horse race, it can be a 3-horse race. And being at the top there, that means everyone is gunning to bring you down. Everyone wants you to lose. Everyone wants to make sure that Arsenal has lost and they are down. So yes, this is an important stage at where the league is. Before the other international break that is coming around, we need to rack up all those points. And we're facing teams that aren't really as tough as you think. Because if you check very well, we are facing, let me see. We faced West Ham. Man, I'm so sleepy, but we're going to make sure this podcast is done. We've won our against West Ham. We're going to Fulham away. We are going to play Crystal Palace. We're going to play Burnley. We're going to play Sunderland. Those games, especially the Fulham game. Fulham game has been a tough nut to crack over the past 2 or 3 seasons. They haven't beat us, but we drop so many points against them all the time. So yes, these are tricky games. Well, with Liverpool, they have Manchester United, they have Brentford, they had Aston Villa, and they have Man City. So the next 5 games, the next 3 or 4 games, if Arsenal wins all of their games, we stay on top of the table till the other international break. It doesn't matter how the other results goes. We can also be able to, create a nice gap where us and Liverpool is about 2 or 3 or 5 points at some point, and we are almost getting to the halfway of the season, getting to the Christmas period where the football is so much at once. So yes, we are in a position where we control our own destiny. Now, we've expected Liverpool to lose points, we've expected Liverpool to drop points, we've expected Liverpool to lose games. It has happened now. It is official now. It has happened. Now, the only way we can be able to stay up there is by winning our games regardless of the opponent. Not necessarily waiting to lose, no, we have to win. And Arteta has the opportunity to show to the world and to the media that he is a capable manager. He's a manager that can be able to get you to the over the line, can be able to get you wins, can be able to get you trophies. No, he has to repay. We have to repay. We have to repay him back. The fans, we have to support him. He knows exactly what we want. The players are in tune with him. They know this is the gaffer. This is what we expect of him. This is what he expects from us. We have to find a way to win all those games. It doesn't matter what other teams do. If we create a gap, it's even better for us, because even if the gap is about maybe 3 or 4 points, or maybe more than by Christmas, yeah, we can dream of winning the league. It's very simple. And we go deep into competitions. That includes Champions League, the Carabao Cup, and the FA Cup. Because the FA Cup we normally get to lose in January. And people have been playing that white jersey. Oh my god. Chelsea did a good thing. Esteban scored a nice goal. Caicedo scored one of the goals of the weekend, if rather not goals of the season. It's really good. It was a really, really good hit. Outside the box, Van Dijk was in a position trying to stand and defend his goal with his back or palm. I don't know. I don't know what I exactly was thinking, but that is what exactly happened. Now, to the other disappointing news, or other teams that have seen dust, is Crystal Palace. Now, they were on an 18-game unbeaten run. That stems up to last season. I mean, that's how they actually won the FA Cup and the Community Shield, because they were unbeaten. They managed to beat Liverpool finally. Liverpool hadn't lost a game, and Liverpool lost to Crystal Palace. And then they meet Everton. Everton in a new stadium, the fans are buzzing. They're just playing to enjoy football. They're playing to make a name for themselves. And the redemption of Jack Grealish is something to die for. Currently he has 4 assists and a goal. I don't know whether he had an assist. I haven't watched the game, but I've seen the highlights. I've seen what people are talking about. And Grealish scored the last minute winner against Crystal Palace, and the 18-game unbeaten streak is gone. And if they won, actually, if Crystal Palace won, they would have been third in the league, or I think second in the league. Second in the league. They were this close to being up there, but it happened. It is what it is. Everton deservedly won the game. They needed the 3 points with under Moyes. So yes, it was good. So Arsenal remains undefeated. The Arsenal Invincibles, in short. Yes, that feat is not going to be reached by so many teams in general. Yes, it was a good game. They won. That's it. Now we come to Newcastle versus Nottingham Forest. Bruno Guimaraes scored in the second half, and Walter Made got a penalty, and he actually scored it. And more problems are rising for Big Ange, because now he's the first manager to go 0-0-7. I don't know what even that means in the coaching world, but he hasn't won in 7 games. He's already under pressure. He's expected to win the next game. If he doesn't win, doesn't even try to get a draw, and it was really tough. It was really, really, really tough against Newcastle. And Newcastle were at home. We all know how St. James Park is. They kept another clean sheet, funny enough, because they've only conceded about 5 goals. Only 5. And 3 were to Liverpool, and 2 were from Arsenal. They are rock solid defensively. I think Nick Pope has about 5 clean sheets right now. So that was a good thing to see. Yeah, nothing much to say about the game. It was a good win. Big Ange is under pressure. I don't know whether Mr. Marinakis will be able to keep him that long if he continues with that form. He needs to find a way to win games, because this is relegation form. This is one of those important things that coaches try and ignore. Coaches try and find a way around it. But if he doesn't start racking up points, he's in a relegation battle. It's a guarantee. He will be there in a relegation battle. Whether they didn't win the Europa League match, they lost. Oh man, been tough. It's been really tough for Nottingham Forest. So yeah, they got what they deserved. Newcastle won. Yeah, that's it. That's the end of that story. I haven't seen all those games. I just perusing. Come to the other game, Wolves versus Brighton. Another boring game. It ended 1-1. Verbruggen scoring an odd goal, Van Hecke equalizing for Brighton, and that's it. One of those teams that I hate. I think I hate the coach more than the team. So they drew. I think nothing much in that game. Wolves are still at bottom of the table now with 2 points. Not the most ideal because they really can't defend. And of the 2 points, if they actually managed to defend and keep a clean sheet in both games, they would have been on 6 points. That is good. But right now they're in 2, they have dropped so many points. And the coach was just added a new contract earlier this season. So it's not looking good, however you look at it. Yeah, so the other game was Aston Villa versus Burnley. Let me check who actually scored. It's loading. Aston Villa has been having a terrible. I predicted they would win because Burnley is, a promoted side, and promoted sides don't really do good in the top flight team. So yes. Oh, Doniel Malen scored 2 goals and won the game basically, and sent them to 13th place with 9 points. They have 2 wins, 3 draws, 2 losses. They've scored 6, they've conceded 7 goals. Yeah, they aren't really in a good form. And that is what exactly made Emery to be fired at Arsenal. But Aston Villa, the expectations, they aren't really as high, or rather, they are not in a position to demand so much in a coach if their performances are bad. Maybe he's getting he knows the results will come if they try and improve the process of getting wins. So yeah, Aston Villa basically won. Yeah, that's basically a flower pot team. It doesn't really matter. So yes, it was a good win. They got their points. Burnley are still facing trouble. They haven't really beaten a big team in between. I don't think they will. These relegation teams are really having so much problems because they are competing with teams that have the money, they have the resources, they have the coaches, they have all the resources to make sure that their club stays afloat and their club stays where they'll be making money. So they don't worry about so much about trophies. And it's a good office, I can go and do this and that, and that's it. So yeah, coming to the other game, Brentford versus Man City. Man City won 1-0. They managed to only score a goal through. You can guess who? Haaland. Haaland has 9 goals now. 9 goals in the league. Yo, it's mental. It's Haaland is scoring a lot of goals. Let's just say the list. Let me open something here. Yes, Haaland is scoring a lot of goals, and if they are back in the title race, I think it's fair to say that they are there by merit. They are there because they deserve to be there. So yes, they won the game. They are back in 10. I think they have 12 points. If you check the Premier League table, let me see. Sorry about that. I had technical difficulties because I'm trying to find a connection to get this working. So yes, sorry about that. I'm trying to go through the table. Let me see. Where is this? Going through the table, Arsenal is leading by 16 points. Liverpool is second. Tottenham is third with 14 points. Bournemouth is fourth with 14 points. Man City is fifth. That completes the top 5 teams. Man City, and then Crystal Palace with 12. Manchester United actually have 10 points. They are in 10th place. And Brentford have 7 points. Nottingham Forest have 5 points. They've only won 1 game this season. Wolves are yet to win. and it's already 7 game weeks. I don't know when they are planning to win, but they should find time and they should find their form back to win. Yeah, the last three teams are Burnley, West Ham, and Wolves. West Ham is understandable because they had a coach who didn't really want to be there. He was just getting some false lineups. The players weren't really playing for him. And I think Nuno Espirito Santo is a good coach. And I think he will do very well. So yes, I expect them to, pick it up and rack up some points. Yeah, Leeds have 8 points. Yeah, they aren't really far from the relegation spots. Yes, now since we are going to, I want to update the next fixtures the next time we have this podcast. So those are just to mention other notable fixtures that went on. Sevilla 4, Barcelona 1. Barcelona lost after Real Madrid winning their game. Real Madrid have only lost one game this season. They've won 7 and they have 21 points. They've already made a gap for that La Liga table. So yes, they're doing good. Currently, Atletico Madrid is going on. They're in front against Celta Vigo, and yes, it has been good. That is a roundup. We can enjoy the international break. We can be able to come up with more analysis on individual games that I can be able to talk about. Check on injuries of players. We can talk about FPL. I'll talk about FPL on the next episode and how badly I'm doing. How badly I'm doing. But yes, thank you so much again. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. This is Gots, and welcome to Gots on Goal. See you again, and peace.